was like, oh, you're acting different. And he's like, no, I'm fine. And, he's like, Mom, I just want to make sure I'm right with God in how I'm living my life. I need to make some serious changes. And I was like, okay, and of course I'm going to support anything, especially positive things.
Yeah.
And I was like, anything in particular? He's like, well, just the way I talk and the way I sometimes get mad. And I just want to make sure that, I get into heaven. And I was like, well, buddy, of course you're going to get into heaven. You're an amazing kid. I'm like, despite, those everyday things that we all do, you know, um, he was so kind and so generous and so loving. Um, Never in my life have I seen or heard a kid as little as, 3 for him and as old as 16 for him, um, care more about other people. Um, when he would see homeless people and stuff, he would be inclined to give his, money that he's earned. He, would have $3 in his pocket, and going into Circle K, he's like, well, I don't need anything. I'm going to give this to this person. And I can remember there's a few times I was like, you don't want to do that, son. That's, you worked for that. And, you don't know what they want it for. And he's like, that's okay, Mom. And I'm like, okay, he's definitely somebody I could follow their example. Um, but, in the week or so prior to the accident, there were a lot of shifts in his behavior. He would stand and hug me longer. Um, he would look at me longer and tell me things like, you're really beautiful, Mom. You're a really good person. And um, the same with his sisters. He would sit and have conversations with his sisters like, you need to fix these things in your life and you need to do these things, and you need to think more about this or that. And it was, now looking back, it was almost like he was preparing for what was to come,
Mm-hmm.
as if he knew, but that's hard to think about. So
Yeah.